we're getting into some really good stuff with Abraham, and he's about to go rescue Lot again, but this time in prayer. And God understands his servant Abraham loves his nephew. So even though Abraham asked God to save the town for 10 people, and God knew there were not 10, God does the unthinkable, and what Abraham did not ask for, God delivers. We're going to continue the story with Genesis chapter 19. I am Foluke Olayale, and you are reading through the Bible with me. Let's continue where we left off. That evening, remember, the angel of the Lord was talking to Abraham, and Abraham pleaded 6 times. Oh my goodness. I didn't even touch on that. 6 times Abraham pleaded for Sodom and Gomorrah. He was really pleading for Lot, even though he never mentioned his name one time. God knows our hearts, right? God knows that Abraham could care less about the city, Sodom and Gomorrah, but man, does he love his nephew. 6, by the way, is the number of sin. S-I-N. Sin is the number 6 is the number of sin. Is the on the 6th day God created human beings. He put us on this earth that he created, right, on the land. And man, are we sinful. Whenever you see the number 6, it represents that 6th day corruption, humans, sinfulness, wickedness. It represents humanity and all of the brokenness that comes with it. So 6 times Abraham pleaded for Sodom and Gomorrah. So let's continue. That evening, the 2 angels, this is the first time they're referred to as angels. Previously, they were referred to as 2 men. But I was kind of playing with the idea of God talking to himself. Or maybe he was talking to himself, the angel of the Lord down here, and God in heaven, Holy Spirit, and then the 2 angels. But it was very interesting how that reference to the Lord, but then there's these other 2, and then he speaks, and then he says they speak instead of I speak, and it's very interesting. But right now, it says very clearly the 2 angels. That evening, the 2 angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. Lot has that home training. He's able to recognize something, his relationship with Abraham. He's able to recognize something about these men, and he bows to the ground. Respect, cultural reverence, whatever the case may be. We see the same gesture from Abraham repeated here. And Lot says, my lords. This is a lowercase L in the Bible, by the way. He said, and this time he says it with a plural. Remember when Abraham greeted the 3 men, he said, my Lord, singular. Now, Lot is saying, my lords, plural. Come to my home to wash your feet and be my guest for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Okay, so this is a bit of what's happening. Again, it's hard for us to understand the way the towns were built back then. But imagine that you have a town and there's like a gate, like there's only one way into the town. There's walls, right? It's walled all around. And so they have 2 points in the gate. The first point, right, where the outsiders come to the gate, and it's like, okay, who are you? What business do you have? And if it's business that doesn't require you going into the inner court, you stay in this inside the gate, but not inside the gate. Like there's another wall, another gate that would actually let you in the city. So you're in between. So Lot seemed to live in this in between. And there was a reason for it. Remember, he's a righteous man. The Bible does not question his righteousness. He did not behave like the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. He just lived among them. He lived this in between life where he himself was still um, righteous, but everyone he surrounded himself with were not. He was enjoying their lifestyle, but keeping himself apart. And obviously, he wasn't able to keep his household, not the same way with the same authority that Abraham had over his household, right? If you notice the different things that Abraham would say to Sarah, to the servants, and they would respond immediately, they followed him. And here we have Lot, and we'll see later how um, people respond to him. But there's a reason why Lot is sitting at the gate, literally looking for people who are not from there to rescue them, because he knows what kind of people live inside those walls. And so it seems that he's done this before. What he's about to do, we'll read it. It seems like he's done this before, keeping an eye out and rescuing the people who did not need to go into that city. Okay. So, um, so Lot said, "Come to my home to wash your feet and be my guest for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again." Seems like he's trying to rush them off. Wait, we barely just got here. Yep, and it's time for you to go. Stay the night. You're safe in my home. I'll take care of you. I'll feed you, and then you got to be up and gone before the sun is up. Okay? "Oh no," they replied. "We'll just spend the night out here in the city square, which should be a safe space, right? It should be safe for wanderers to just camp out there." Oh no, no, no. But Lot insisted. So at last, they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast. He was in a hurry. When you make bread without yeast, it's because you don't have time to let it rise, which we'll find out later as the children of Israel leave Egypt. The Passover, one of the things that are celebrated is the bread without yeast, unleavened bread. Why is it unleavened bread? Because they did not have any time. You need to get up and get out. And Lot makes the bread for these guests. He said, "Spend the night," but they ain't do. You act like you in a hurry. Yeah, we ain't got time. Anything could happen any minute. We gonna eat. We'll be ready. And they ate. But before they retired for the night, before they even went to bed, all the men of Sodom, young and old. We talking about teenagers, young adults, senior citizens, all the men came from all over the city and surrounded Lot's house. They shouted to Lot, "Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them." All the men in the city, all the men want to sleep with the two men that just arrived. Oh my. All the men, young and old. That's how corrupt the Bible is emphasizing the corruption and the sin that was in that city. Emphasis. And the word must have spread. Somebody must have seen these two people coming into Lot's house. And they went and they told so and so, "Oh, I see some fresh new bodies." And then they went and they told somebody else, and they went and told somebody else, like, "We're going to get these fresh new bodies." And so they surrounded his whole house. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them. He was accustomed to dealing with this. What does that say about him? How do you deal with something like that over and over again? And you yourself are still able to be righteous. But what is the consideration for your wife and your children? Are they going to be able to withstand all that pressure too from the outside? But Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. I don't know how he did it. He shut the door, put his body in the way, like y'all not coming in, right? He said, please, my brothers, they're not his brothers. They are not related to him at all. Abraham is your family and he's way over there across the way. These are not your brothers. Remember, we talked about identity and how God was able to speak names and titles, and Lot's mixing things up. These people are not his brothers. They're not spiritually connected to him. They're not physically, genetically connected to him. He somehow has things confused. Don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. Now, interestingly enough, you would think his daughters are under his protection. But culturally, it's my understanding that hospitality somehow trumps family. Like his responsibility to take care of his guests preceded his responsibility to care for his own household. Hey, I'm not the one writing the story. But what he did was probably an honorable thing to suggest back then. Um, but please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider. You notice he said my brothers. They said outsider. You're not our brother. What you pretending for? And now he's acting like our judge. You gonna tell us that this wickedness must not be done? What did you say? He said, don't do such a wicked thing. Who are you to judge us and tell us that what we're about to do is wicked? Who are you? We'll treat you far worse than these men, they said. Whatever you thought we were going to do to those 2, we're going to do way worse to you. And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. But the 2 angels reached out and pulled Lot into the house, and they bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house. So they gave up trying to get inside. Wow. It required all of that for these men to stop trying to get whatever that physical desire, that lust, stop trying to satisfy it. God had to blind them. Ooh. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. Do you have any other relatives here in the city? Remember, they're on a mission. They're looking for 10. Are there 10 righteous here? Get them out of this place. Your sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone else. For we are about to destroy this city completely. And we're here like literally just for you, dude. The outcry against this place is so great. It has reached the Lord and he has sent us to destroy it. We told him already. He already sees. He sees exactly what we see now. Like this place stinks of corruption and wickedness. It's so bad. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés. Because keep in mind, the men of the place were blinded, right? And when it says fiancés, they're betrothed to these men. Not married to them yet. They're still virgin daughters. So the wedding hasn't taken place, but there's a legal contract that says that they will marry them. And he tells these men, quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. But the young men thought he was only joking. So I actually have a question. I don't think I thought this before. When it says all the men of the city, all the men of the city came out to sleep with these 2 angels. Did that include these 2 betrothed men? Or maybe they were young kids. And maybe his daughters were young too, so maybe not considered men. They might have been under the age of 20. Manhood, adulthood, I believe, started at the age of 20. That's the age they were able to go to war. So maybe they were under the age of 20 and weren't officially included in the men count of all the men. But either way, they didn't respect or regard Lot enough to simply obey, right? He said, quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. They're like, who's the Lord? Who are you talking about, dude? What kind of a joke is this? Get out, whatever. But the young men thought he was only joking. At dawn the next morning, right? Because the angel of the Lord, they were going to wait till the morning. The angels became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot. Take your wife and your two daughters who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of this city. When Lot still hesitated, this one made me mad. I'm reading it and I'm like, what in the world? You are a righteous man. What does this world have on you that attaches you to it so much that the angels came to get you and you are still hesitating? What? But Lot hesitated. He hesitated. With the angels right there, he hesitated. With everything he saw about the men in the city, he hesitated. It's as if the evil wasn't evil enough to cause him to just want to run. Oh, thank you for saving me. I'm out. Deuces. Bye. No, he still is contemplating, how can I stay? This blew my mind and just made me mad. When Lot hesitated, when Lot still hesitated, the angels seized his hand and the hands of his wife and two daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city. Why did they do that? For no other reason except for Abraham. Because God loved Abraham and God knew Abraham wanted his nephew saved. But dear God Almighty, Lot hesitated. And the angels, coincidentally, there were two angels with two hands, a total of four. Just enough to take Lot, his wife, and his two daughters by the hand and force them out of that city. I'm sure they were probably kicking and screaming, I don't care. You are going out. Get out. We're leaving now. What more does the angel have to say? The city is being destroyed. I will gladly leave you here so you can die with them. But God has a covenant with Abraham, and Abraham loves you, his nephew. Love, 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 love. When Lot still hesitated, the angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and two daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. Mercy is unmerited favor. God showed them grace. He did not dish out a consequence that they deserved. He did not carry out a sentence that they rightfully deserved. That is mercy. Mercy. You deserve this sentence because you committed this crime. You put yourself there and you still want to stay. Oh my goodness gracious. Um, so when they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, run for your lives. And don't look back. Don't look back. Don't stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away. Remember when God told Abraham, get circumcised because that's the covenant? You remember how quickly he acted? Look at Lot. Oh no, my Lord, Lot begged. You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness, but I cannot go to the mountains. You want me to run to the mountains? You're giving me instructions. I can't follow those instructions. Let me negotiate with you. Disaster would catch up to me there, and I will soon die if I went to the mountains. See, there's a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? It's not that big of a deal. It's not as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a little bitty city, not that bad. Then my life will be saved. See how small it is? Just a little bitty sin. Not a lot of sin, just a little bit. All right, the angel said, I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there. I can do nothing? Interesting. Ooh. This explains why that village was known as Zor, which means little place. They just kept calling it a little bitty town, just a little village, a little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. When the Lord rained, then the Lord rained down the fire. Goodness. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. As soon as Lot was in a safe place, the Lord rained down sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. Uh-oh, here it comes. Remember what the angel told him? He said, don't look back. Don't stop anywhere in the valley. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, not alongside him. She was trailing behind, and she turned into a pillar of salt. It's not just that she looked back like, oh, I dropped my scarf, but she looked back in longing, like, oh, I miss my home. Who was she attached to? Lot, the Lord, or the pulling from the world, Sodom and Gomorrah? Did you hear all the wickedness that these men were going to do? And that was her home. She longed for that. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain toward Sodom and Gomorrah, knowing his nephew lived there. And he watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe. We didn't hear that as Abraham's request. I heard Abraham negotiating 6 times for God to save the people of the city if there were 40, if there were 50, no 45, no 30, no 20, no what? All the way down to 10 people. See, that's what I heard. But God understood his heart, and God kept Lot safe, removing Lot from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. Afterward, Lot left Zoar. And imagine, did you see that? Abraham went early in the morning. I mean, imagine he'd been praying all night. Oh, I know, Lord, I told you what I desired. But still in anticipation, did God answer my prayer? Did God answer my prayer? And at that point, how does he even know if God answered his prayer or not? I mean, there wasn't a cell phone. Hey, Lot, you okay? He's just looking and all he sees is smoke. Did God answer my prayer? Is my nephew safe? Is the person I love okay? Afterward, Lot left Zoar because he was afraid of the people there. And he went to live in a cave in the mountains. Isn't that where the angel told him to go? Go to the mountains. And he's like, no, it's far. I'm just going to stay in this little place. And then he was afraid of the people in the little place. So he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his 2 daughters. One day, the older daughter said to her sister, there are no men left anywhere in the entire area. So we can't get married like everyone else. What were they accustomed to? Doing what everyone else did. They just left a town called Zor. Yes, it's a little town, but there were human beings there, men. So they decide to come up with their own solution to their own problems, since obviously their fiancés have been killed in the whole sulfur engulfment of Sodom and Gomorrah, they're going to find their own solution. Women finding their own solutions to stuff, not just women. Men do it too in the Bible. Abraham found his own solution too. Tell him you're my sister. It's just a human being, natural thing to do. But they didn't know God. It doesn't seem as if Lot really taught his wife or his daughters who God was or how to trust in him. So they said there were no men left anywhere in the entire area. So we can't get married like everyone else. And our father will soon be too old to have children. Look how they're making all of these assumptions as if they can see into the future. They know how things are going to play out, right? Come, let's get him drunk with wine, and then we will have sex with him. That way we will preserve our family line through our father. Where did they get that from? Having sex with their dad. Where did they see that? Where do you think they could have seen such a thing? And it would have been okay for young girls to even think of doing such a thing. Let's get our dad drunk and sleep with him. So that night, they got him drunk with wine. And the older daughter went in and had intercourse with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or her getting up again. Why? Because he was probably blacked out. No memory, that drunk. How did they know how to get him that drunk? How many times have they seen someone get that drunk? The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, I had sex with our father last night. Yeah. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight, and you can go in and have sex with him. That way, we will preserve our family line through our father. So that night, they got him drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. What kind of a godly man leads his home by getting drunk? And you could say, well, his daughters got him drunk. They couldn't have tied him down. He's drinking. He's drinking. The leadership style differences between Abraham and Lot. As a result, both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ammi. He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Ammonites. I can only imagine, what did Lot say when he woke up? He didn't remember, right? What did Lot say when both his daughters are starting to show their baby bellies? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. How'd y'all get pregnant? Huh? We've been in this cave. How'd y'all get pregnant? What did I miss? What did he say? I can't imagine. But as with just about everything, God brings good from evil. And we know a Moabitess who God redeemed. You remember her name? Ruth, in the line of Jesus Christ herself. But everywhere else, the Moabites are a thorn in the flesh of the Israelites. So much more to come. I hope you are enjoying this, even though some of this is really sad and maybe a bit disturbing. But it's real. Even in our world today, it's so real. So, thank you for reading through the Bible with me. Until next time.